Okay. Yeah. So you even paid a little bit more than what we did. You must have, well, obviously better seats then.
Yeah, we had pretty good seats. They were right down the third base line, first base line. So
Nice.
it's a bit of a bummer that we didn't end up being able to actually go.
Mm.
But that's what happens sometimes is you buy tickets to a baseball game that you actually work that day and you just kind of forgot because it was an event, and then all of a sudden that was try day.
Oh no shit! Really? How many days in advance did you figure that out?
It was about a week. Actually,
okay, a week before. Oh, so
it
you
was
got
I bought the tickets, and then I think Meg was like, "That's try day," and then I thought, "How come you know my schedule better than I do? I'm so stupid." But that was that, and then we honestly, so it's super nice. Like you're able to resell them pretty easily. So I got them via like the MLB like app on the phone. And I just put them up for resale because I asked some other people if they wanted to buy them, like some friends, and they were like, "Nah, we don't. Fuck you, Croy." Verbatim. That's what they said.
Oh, really?
No, they didn't say "fuck you, Croy," but they said, "No, we don't want to buy."
They were thinking it.
Yeah. This bitch, this guy. But no, you can resell them pretty easily on the MLB website. So,
is that what you're able to do?
Yeah, it was super nice. So I resold it. I didn't lose any money.
No.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice. So.
I wonder how much those Wolves tickets are going for when the
Ooh, you should look.
What's your guess? I mean, I know there's going to be a range, but
yeah, it's a good question. I don't know.
Got to be over a couple.
I think you probably can get a ticket for under $200.
Under? Nah, you can get up in the balcony. Wouldn't you think? No, I don't know. I haven't been to an NBA game.
It might be like 100.
I would say at least 100,
maybe.
And then courtside, I mean, or something like that, or when you're on the bottom.
Yeah,
rung area, those have to be at least a couple hundred, I would imagine.
You know what show costs a couple $100 to attend?
No, what?
The Average Bros Gym Podcast with your hosts with eerily similar names, Croy and Kory, walk you through fitness, health, and life advice. We seek to meet you where you're at. No polarizing black and white takes, no threatening you and telling you the only way to do things. Just genuine advice and good conversation. We're going to hit the applause button 1 second. Yeah. Woo. Welcome back to the party team. We're back. We're gonna start our conversation today with a lament.
That's a good word.
A lament, a tragic remembrance of what was. And that was our episode last week.
I was like, where are we going?
No, Kory and I recorded an episode last week, and I was so bummed because I was just like, it was in my view, it was the best episode we've done thus far. I just really liked our conversation. It was amazing, and I'm not ready to do that conversation again. I'm gonna need a couple weeks before we have that.
There was a couple tearjerker worthy moments.
Oh God,
yeah.
I was legitimately. It doesn't, I cry a lot, so
that's an okay thing though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like that was happening. Episode. So, anyways, so what happened was the app we were using, the service we've been using to record these episodes, never a problem.
Yeah,
really. And all of a sudden last week, it was like we were trying to record and it wasn't rendering at all. So it's like when you record it and then it download, like it translates to it like a downloadable format essentially. And then using that download, I put it into a different app that's the editing software and then edit through there. And so it just never downloaded, like it just never translated to a downloadable track. And so what happened was they have like a cloud backup. They have a backup in the cloud. But when I did that, I could download that cloud backup. However, it was only your voice.
Oh.
It was only, and not saying we don't love Kory. We love Kory's voice.
Or my voice.
Or his voice. Did you see how he got like deeper? Oh,
yeah.
Not that we don't love Kory's voice, but it was like it's very different listening to you do like a solo episode versus like you talking to someone who's talking to you back. We can only hear you.
Yeah.
So it was just too. I tried to use it, and I tried to cut all of my parts out so that your dialogue just flowed together without any break. But it was still.
Oh yeah, that'd be choppy as shit.
Yeah,
there'd be no way to do it.
And it was I reached out to the member services, whatever. I reached out to the support, and they were like, hey, use this down. Like, they're like, okay, yeah, cool, we get it. Like, we see that there's something wrong with it. Like, you can use this drive to download this thing. And I was like, oh my God, I have hope. And this was like Wednesday. So this is already 4 days after we recorded. And then Wednesday, I look at the download, I download it, and I go through this file, and it's the same thing. It just doesn't have my voice at all. And for anybody who doesn't know, recording, so you can only, like, when you're recording into a computer, you can only record through one input, right? There's like, they make you choose, like, what's your microphone input, right? If you have an audio mixer, which is what we bought for a non-insignificant amount of money, the audio mixer, you can do a bunch of stuff on it, but essentially it takes all of those and it feeds it into one whatchamacallit, input, right? So it's like, we can plug multiple microphones into this mixer, put it in the computer, and then it should record as one so that you can hear both of ours. But I don't know if the cloud backup took that into account. I don't think it understood us as people. So the cloud backup just took the one microphone, which was yours, in the computer without taking the rest of it. So anybody that's like an audio person, like, how wrong am I?
Dude, when it comes to anything being technologically savvy, I am not. Like, even the idea of calling a service team to be able to assist me in whatever thing that I'm currently struggling with when it comes to technology, I just dread that conversation. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you the guy that, like, have you turned it on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's going to be one of the first things that I always go to, because that's happened to, I feel, everyone at some point or a time or another. You're like, what the fuck is the fucking thing? I don't get. And then you realize, oh yeah, it actually was not plugged in or plugged on or turned on or whatever.
Yeah.
But basically anything past that point, then I'm kind of just all shoulders. Just, I don't know. And nor do I even want to, like, go through the conversation of like, okay, now you got to go here, you got to click that, then see if this little amplifier or whatever else is turned on. I'm just like, my eyes kind of start to glaze over a little bit. And like, just, I don't know, fix it.
I'm the guy that will, like, get to a certain point. Like, I'm very good at following directions. So I'm probably going to be adjusting this microphone throughout the process because I'm using a different one today. Okay, perfect. So I'm that guy who, like, I'll get to a certain point in the directions and I'm like, I'm just nailing it, like, one after another. Like, I got this. And then I get to a point where it's like, it requires a little bit more knowledge. I'm fucking stuck. And I'm like, I start raging because I just think to myself, I've gotten this far. How come I can't, like, do this? And there was one time. So if anybody doesn't know me, like, I'm kind of in the past, I've been more of a video game nerd. And video game, like,
in the past,
well, I just don't have time anymore. So,
as you have on your screen a D&D, a 200-page, mind you, D&D, like,
that's Dungeons and Dragons. That's a tabletop role-playing game.
Oh, well, still game.
Yes, that's not a video game, but you're right. True. But so, like, I've built a computer before with assorted parts.
See, that even too. Yeah. I don't even want to, like, venture down whatever that undertaking would be. That sounds so incredibly challenging.
Well, back in the day, it was cheaper. I don't think it's probably much cheaper anymore. I think it's probably the same price. Like, just how Airbnbs used to be cheaper than hotels, and that's not the case anymore. Now it's like, hey, you rent this cabin out in the fucking boonies for $300 a night.
But it's bougie as shit.
No, it's not even.
No, not even bougie.
Not even bougie. Back in the day, it was. So building a computer used to be cheaper. Like, you'd buy the individual components. Like, you have, like, your video, your graphics card. You've got your processor. You've got your, like, cooling system. You've got, the RAM, which is like the storage of the computer. You've got, like, the hard drive. You could buy all those individual components, put it together yourself, and as long as they all went together, because that was the tough part, is like, you had to make sure they actually were compatible. Then you could essentially assemble a better computer for much cheaper. And there was one time I was doing that, and I was installing a new graphics card. So basically, what makes games look good, right? And I installed it, and, like, didn't work, and, like, the computer wouldn't start. And I went through this entire, like, process for 2 weeks of emailing, calling, messaging, looking up how to do things. What does this error code mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Like, 2-3 weeks go by and no one has an answer for me. Like, have you tried this? Yes. Have you tried this? Yes. Have you tried this? It's like, what the fuck did I just mess it up? And I open it up the box, the computer case, and I grab the graphics card and I'm holding it and I'm like, there's no way. And I push it down a little bit more and it wasn't in all the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just wasn't in.
See, that's about like where my expertise would come in, where, if I was playing like a Nintendo 64 and the game wasn't turning on, all I would do, take the game out. Everyone knows this if you've had an N64 before. And then you blow on the little cartridge, just like, maybe there's just a little dust bunny in there.
Mm-hmm.
Slam it back in a little bit more aggressively than probably what you put it in. Maybe turn on the power button a little bit more aggressively too. And you're like, okay, hopefully that works.
I heard that's bad for it. I heard that's bad for it actually long term, but I mean, whatever.
I mean, fuck it. This shit still works. I brought it all the way up. Like, I still currently have it. And I mean, not that I play it at all, but I brought it up when I first moved up to the cities. And this is a gaming console that I had since I was a kid. Countless hours put into Mario Kart and various other games on there. It's like, fuck it, why not bring it up? Just for the one odd time that I just get a wild hair. And I'm like, okay, let's throw that on. And it still worked.
What was your favorite Nintendo 64 video game?
Oh, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart?
Oh, 1000%. Yeah.
Anybody who listens to this, regardless if you're a gamer or not, you're going to know Mario Kart. And that's like the quintessential party game or like game that people who don't play video games play.
Yeah. I think it's at that point, like, what console did you
if you get
start playing it on?
Like a Switch or a Wii, you got Mario Kart, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But N64, that was like the first gaming console or gaming system that I had. And I think at some point, no, I did have an Xbox. That was where my Guitar Hero obsession that slowly came to be. And then eventually it got that, what was known as that red ring of death that would like come on. So you turn the Xbox on. If it popped up green, you were like, fuck yeah, good to go. But then you heard about like the red ring of death. And if you went to hit the button to turn on the gaming console and then it turned up red around it, you were like, oh, fuck, great. Now something's wrong with it.
Warranties on them, or was it kind of just like, hey, you're out of luck?
I don't even know. I
guess we were pretty young.
Was like, all right, well, whatever. I don't know. Hopefully it works. If not, fuck it.
Man,
like you said, you took like 2 weeks to go and figure out like your computer situation with like the graphics card.
It's like
I would have spent like 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd be like, all right, whatever. I don't want to spend any more time on this.
I had to game, bro. I had games to play.
Well, they are incredibly like stimulating and addictive. Where you're like, oh, I really want it, and I mean they're so engaging. And they are very fun, especially some of the party games. You know, getting together with a group of friends on like a game night, not just like board games or card games, but playing Mario Party or playing Mario Kart, or even have you played like Jackbox games? Jackbox games? Oh, okay. So I think you can get Jackbox on a PlayStation or Xbox. You can just like purchase it.
Oh, like trivia games, kind of, or not trivia games, but kind of like I get what you mean.
There's like Murder Mystery Party.
Sure,
what my favorite
Scrabble or some shit.
Like, no, not Scrabble. It's oh my goodness, I'm gonna space in on it now. It's like one where it'll pop up with like a prompt, and then each person on their phone types in like a response to it, and then you all get to vote anonymously on what you think had the best response to it. It was like
it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity almost.
Yeah, in a way,
but
but just like on your phone. It's just like a fun party game. I mean, you can easily kill like a good hour, and like very enjoyable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that would be about the only time now that I'll play a sort of video game. I mean, not even like phone games anymore. I used to have those phone games where it'd be Angry Birds, or I never got into Subway Surfers, Bejeweled maybe. But remember when you had
Bejeweled? The Connect 3 games are always just super easy. Like they're the Match 3 games are just like, those are like Bejeweled. Like you're matching 3 in a row, or like whatever number it is. Yeah, those are always really easy to play because that doesn't take any sort of like, there's no learning curve. It's like, okay, cool. If I can match these 3, I'm good, right?
I always crack up when you get some people, adults in their 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, and you'll hear them say like, oh my gosh, kids these days spending so much time on their phones playing video games. And like, meanwhile, then you see them over in the corner while they're waiting in line at a Subway or something like that, and then they're just playing on Subway Surfers on their phone too. I'm like, you're fucking doing the same thing.
Dude, I remember
doing the same shit.
I remember when I lived with my parents. This is back, I think, prior, like being like late teens, maybe. I remember my mom would always be playing Bejeweled. Like that was like on the computer, because she'd have the computer at home, like just playing Bejeweled on the computer. I remember always walking past her and seeing that. But like the N64 games were interesting because, like, so if anybody doesn't know, and Nintendo 64 is just like a gaming console back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was, at the time was like the head of the game.
Oh yeah.
But they had a lot of like Nintendo was like more of like the I don't want to say like family company, but they had a lot of co-op games, like cooperative games.
Nope.
So they had like the Mario Karts and Mario parties and things like that. And you thought it was all fun. Like when I was a kid, I remember playing Super Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Super Smash Brothers, if anybody is not aware, it's basically a game where it's like you can get 4 characters from all of like Nintendo's games. Like you could play as like Pikachu and like Mario and like Donkey Kong, which is these big Nintendo characters play against each other. You're basically fighting against each other, and each character has like their own set of moves. And it was just a really fun game to play at like sleepovers or like people around, whatever, like having people over, and like didn't matter if you were even good at games, because back in the day we were all kids anyway. And then like I remember playing it later on as an adult, and I realized that I stopped playing as a kid and like tried to like play it again as an adult, and there's a lot of people that never stopped playing the game. Like I know some dudes, I know some friends of mine, mostly Trey, Henry, and Michael. Shout y'all out, that are like just like they just are so fucking good, and it's just so unfun to play them.
Yes,
they're just like, because people that are good at like Super Smash Brothers, that like know how to do certain things, or like glitches in the game, like they're wild, and they don't let you win.
No,
like people that are good at Super Smash Brothers are like like I'm going to prove to you how good I am. And like I don't care, but it's like they never let you win. Like they're the most ruthless people on this earth.
Yep, 1,000%.
People that are good at that game will never let you win.
No, I had the same exact experience with like a group of buddies from middle school and then into high school. And anytime that we would get together for, again, like a game night, you just have all your buddies over, you're ordering in some pizzas. And I remember my one buddy, Ben, who I'm going to the Twins game with on Sunday, our kind of friend group, we would go over to his place. He had a game room with a ping pong table and a pool table and like a shuffleboard. And like, I love doing that shit. Like that was really fun to me, also because I'm good at that stuff. But then,
were you on the ping pong team in high school?
No, I wish, dude. I'm good. I'm ping pong and pool. That's my shit.
I'm about to kick your ass in ping pong. Let's fucking go,
dude. Dogwood Coffee. Let's go this weekend. They got a ping pong table set up there. I got another one,
bro. I got my ping pong battle over here.
Dude, really?
I got in the house. Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, we'll take a look at it afterwards.
How have we never talked about that? You're actually like a halfway decent ping pong player.
I mean, I don't know.
We're gonna come back to the next episode on this. I want to play you. I want to see. Yeah.
Shout out my buddy Coleman Rollins for the South High Ping Pong Club.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk.
Dude, I'm actually excited about this now. I was just talking to a client that I worked with earlier, and he also fancies himself a fairly good ping pong player. And I'm like, oh, we got to play.
So we're gonna get the wireless mics. We're gonna set up a tripod, and we're gonna film this.
Yes.
And we're gonna perfect.
That'd be good.
Anyways, continue your story though.
Yeah. So same buddy that I'm meeting up with this weekend for the Twins game, Ben, our little peer group, we'd have our little game nights generally over at his place, because it was just his family's house was much more conducive for having a get together like that. And so if we weren't playing ping pong, pool, or shuffleboard in the one game room area, then we would venture out more later on in the evening, now at like 9, 10, 11, when you're kind of winding down. That was also the sleep area, and that's when like the video games would start getting thrown on down. And then any time that they started wanting to play like Super Smash Bros, I was like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm not even going to try, because like 3 of them were super nerds when it came to it. I was like, there's no point in me even playing. Like, I can't even figure out which fucking way is up in the game, because it moves so fast and there's so many different moves. And with them, it was just like they would hit you with the character's superpower seemingly every like 2 fucking seconds. You're like, oh, my 10 lives that I had from my character were done in 2 minutes. Cool, now I'm just done, and I'm just like watching this go now. So I'd be like, nah, I don't want to fucking play anymore.
Yeah. Then you're just watching like them two like do all of their crazy moves, but not actually hit each other, and you're like, God, this
yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm just kind of done now.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of done now.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming they also probably felt the same way anytime that they would have to play me in like pool or ping pong. We're like, oh fuck, all right.
You're a pool shark. We heard about that in one episode.
Yeah.
You're the pool guy.
Kudos to, well, my dad's the pool guy. I'm get the best of everybody generally in ping pong. Yeah. I'll get my dad every now and again, but then when it comes to ping pong, I pretty much hold the belt, and then my brother's the little dart shark.
Sure.
He's really good at darts. But I always love those kind of games, or even like yard games.
Who's the best axe thrower?
I've only been axe throwing once.
Okay.
It was fun. I don't know if it would be something that I would get into with any sort of like regularity, but I mean, for the 1 to 2 times that you go, I mean, it's enjoyable.
Meg and I did a date night at Dragon's Lair. And I did choose that because it was a fun name that sounded like Dungeons.
Yeah.
Well, it got good reviews, and we went, and it was very odd because it doesn't really have like a good sign. It's like on the back of this like pizza place. It's like the pizza place kind of like connects to it, kind of.
Okay.
Anyways, but it was cool. It was like I didn't realize because the only time I'd gone axe throwing was like way back when axe throwing first became a thing.
It did really pop for a good year
like
or two. Yeah.
2017, 2018, something like that, like way back in the day. And I realized I'm offending a lot of people by saying way back in the day. I know that was 6 years ago. Okay. COVID made everything feel like it was 20 years ago.
Oh, shit.
So it was the pre-COVID times. So we did, so we went and did Dragon's Lair axe throwing. And back in the day, it was just kind of like you just had a board and you just threw it. And it was like, if you get it close to the center, hey, great job.
Yep.
This one was kind of cool because they had like projectors and you could like project kind of like games onto it. Like we did a
tic-tac-toe or something.
Tic-tac-toe.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
We did like a zombie game that was like you just have these zombies that all had like certain points on them, and you had played like 10 rounds, just whoever had the most points at the end.
Nice.
So we did that a couple of times, and so that was like fun. I enjoyed that.
See, that sounds more appealing. Like the time that I went, it was just your classic. There's your bullseye ring. You maybe had the couple corner spots that would count for more, but that was it. But that sounds more interesting, where you could do different variations of axe throwing games.
Well, it was definitely like an hour was like plenty of time. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have wanted to do it more than that. But that was like plenty of time, and you had like a chaperone kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Like someone just kind of like doing the games for you and
making sure you're also not fucking around.
Yeah. I think she was very nice. I want to say her name was like Artemis or like something like
Artemis.
It probably wasn't. It felt like it was like something that wasn't like.
I guess that would also kind of hold up if they're at Dragon's Lair.
Well, she had a sick. She had a Game of Thrones like Stark pendant for like it was her hair or her belt. I think it was her belt buckle. It was like a Stark belt buckle from Game of Thrones. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like she's a nerd for sure. That's probably why she's doing axe throwing. But she was cool. I'm a nerd, so I get it. But yeah, so no, it was fun. So she was really cool, like just kind of like very like dry humor, and like Megan and I were just kind of like, I mean, we're both like people we to a degree, like we kind of just like making conversation.
Oh yeah.
Me more so than her for sure, but like I think we're both just very social, so it's kind of a fun little go back and forth. So that's a fun way to move your body if you're thinking about other ways to do it, I guess.
Well, and it's funny when you said like, okay, an hour is like just enough time where you're like, oh, okay, I'm good with those number of games. It's like when you go out bowling with a group of people, you play the first game, everyone's down for one, and usually everyone's down for the second. But then it's that third game where you're like, like, are we going to go for a third? And then you already get the person that is like dead set on doing it, and they already clear out the screen, and like the next screen rolls up for game 3, and you're like, fuck, all right.
There's always that one person who's way more into it than anybody else. Yeah.
And you're like, did we all agree to this? Because fuck it. All right, I guess I'm going to, because I mean, depending on how many people that you got, you're like, and then people are like, I don't know. When I go bowling, if I go with a group of people, like I want you to stay on top of your shit. Like, hey, are you up next? Like, fucking go. Like, oh, great. Now you're running over to grab another like slice of pizza. You're just kind of dinking around on your phone. Like, we got like 10 frames of this shit, and we got like 6 people in this party. So like, I'm also, and then you're on a hot streak. You're like, if I'm on a little bit of a heater, I don't want to be cooling down, and
Kory's sitting there with like a towel over his head, just fucking, like listening to just fucking DMX.
No, I'm the guy over in the next lane drying out my hand on the fucking like little breeze. Yep.
There's always that one guy that's like, you finished the second, like I feel like midway or like
midway,
middle of the way through like the second game, there's always like a little bit of a dip as far as energy levels. Like people are kind of like starting to get a little tired. Like the food has come, people are trying to eat, and then like that, like you're right, like end of the second game, everybody's kind of sitting around, kind of chatting. Maybe they're a couple beers deep, and all of a sudden, like the guy comes back. It's like, okay, you're up. Like the third game has already started.
Yeah,
like, the first guy's already gone.
And you're like, yo, come on.
I'm kind of like that with timed events, because you're like, I want to get the most amount of time I can in this event. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that like, okay, we only have an hour, and it's already taken us like 5 10 minutes to like put our names in the screen.
Figuring out, are you gonna just write your name or are you gonna do a nickname?
Go. Like someone's over there. It's like, no, you're on this team. Like, what the fuck? Like,
There's one new game experience, I guess would probably be a good way to call it, that I've heard about. And I think there's one in the Minneapolis area. I'm gonna have to look this up, but where you go in and it's kind of the virtual reality headset that you'll wear, and you'll also wear like a haptic feedback suit. So then when you're in the game, for instance, I think one is where you can go into some like haunted mansion or something, and then like zombies will start like attacking you. And then so you have a makeshift like plastic gun that you're holding, but then as you're turning around in this room, obviously you can see various aspects of the mansion that you're in and like where the zombies are attacking from. And if they start like striking you, you'll feel the suit kind of give you a little like buzz or like, ooh, you're getting like hit or something. And I was like, that would be kind of cool to test out. Go with like a group of 6 to 8 people or however many that you can get into a room like that. But I've never done something like that, and that sounds like a very immersive experience that I think everyone, regardless if you're a gamer or not, you get really into. Have you ever done any of that, or have you heard of those?
No, I mean, I've done like Top Golf, so
I've only done that once. That was cool.
No, like I've done. I mean, that was a joke more so based on the disparity in actual relation between those two things.
Oh, okay.
But no, like I think well, one, I think it's kind of cool that like, I mean, we are a health and wellness podcast, and all these things are kind of about moving your body. Like it is kind of a fun way to do different things, right? I mean, obviously, like everything else is involved too, but like just moving is kind of fun. Like down do every other week or something like that. Whatever, find some opportunity. But I've done laser tag before. Laser tag is very physical. The laser tag, you got to be on your conditioning because you're moving around. If you're anything like me, who gets like weirdly serious about laser tag, like not to a point where I'm like yelling at people, but like I'm running.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're in it.
Yeah, I'm ducking. I'm diving. I'm going prone. Like I'm doing all the things on laser tag. Like I played Call of Duty. Okay, I like know what to do. Crouch. So like that's kind of I really enjoy playing laser tag. I mean, the last time I played it was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But like I don't know, I kind of like doing those things.
Laser tag's a good experience. I've done that once when I was a kid, like middle school. You go for somebody's birthday party. That was pretty fun. But then paintball, if you up it, another level. I remember going to paintball for a bachelor party, and that shit was intense. I had never gone before. This was a couple years back with my buddy Sam, and the first map, I guess you will, that we went to, it was one where there was like a castle right in the middle, and then other than that, it was a pretty open field around it with just like a couple fences that were up. And I just remember like running out into the field trying to get behind one of the first barricades so you don't get fucking pelted right away, because again, it's very open with the exception of the big ass castle right in front. And I remember getting up behind the first barricade, and I didn't anticipate just the fucking adrenaline dump that was going to happen to me, because I got tucked underneath this barricade, and then I just realized that I'm sitting there fucking panting like I just sprinted a mile, and it was like 20 feet, and I'm just freaking the fuck out, like, oh my god, I need to like calm down here a little bit. Yeah, I wish there was a scope. They only had just like the regular paintballs, but those would be pretty intense. Well, like sniper.
But like I went, God, man, the last one I went paintballing, because like paintballs hurt. I fucking hate paintball because it hurts so bad.
Oh yeah, you get some welts.
Yeah, paintballs hurt. But I remember the last time I went, I was still pretty young. And we went to like an indoor place, and the indoor place was just whack. Like it was all concrete, and the room was like barely bigger than an apartment. And they had like inflate. I mean, it was bigger than that. I'm exaggerating, but it wasn't very big. And then it was like you had like inflatable things. But paintball, like, and I could be speaking out of my ass. There's gonna be like one person listening who's like a really big paintball person, like Croy, you're fucking dumb, like whatever. I don't give a fuck. So, but like, paintball, like when you go to a paintball place and you're getting your own gun, it's like very like single shot. It's like you're doing these things, but they have them where it's like you do it's like a finger wag, and you're like wiggling your fingers, almost like you're playing guitar, where it's like, and then the paintballs are just shooting out. It's like a machine gun. And it's like, well, that's not fun.
Yeah,
it's like that's just you in FPS games you'd call it spray and pray. That's not fun. You just sit behind something and just do this, and it's like there's no aspect of like actual coordination to it.
Like they're not being like saving ammunition. Like they have multiple rungs of paintball tubes on like their belt buckle. So they're sitting there just, rolling the fingers along the trigger. And then as they're doing it, they'll flip open the top of the gun, grab another thing. So as they're still shooting, they're loading in a whole other extra 100 paintballs on top of it so they can just keep going. And like from a professional level at that point. But it's,
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it was pretty whack. So.
Yeah. But that would be cool if it would be a little bit different. Like if you had like a pistol, or like you had like a shotgun version, more like airsoft.
Well, and you need to go with like a group of friends, because I think we went and it was like 4 of us, but there was also other people there. And so they all had their own like guns, and like, you guys are lame.
You don't want to just all of a sudden get like roped in to another, or at least I don't anyways. Like if I'm going to do something like that, same thing with bowling or go-karting, for instance, like when we went for my birthday, it's like, I want to go with my own.
Basically pros in go-karting. So
well, my family's pretty good. But
Steve Toretto had no chance.
We were, going to like with a party like that, I want to know everybody involved. I don't want to all of a sudden get that one, guy or girl that is just like, they religiously go every weekend. You're like, oh, fuck. All right. You're just, like, you're here all the time, aren't you? They're going to the go-kart place and they have their own fucking helmet. Like, really? Yeah. Wow, you're that legit? Like, all right.
We all know that. We've all seen that person sometime at some point where it's like, God, this is your hobby, isn't it?
Yeah. And apparently, like, no one else is with you on this hobby, because it's like, it's just you here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a couple of friends and like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. That's always like, respect to that person. That, I mean, we all have our, I played Dungeons and Dragons, which is a pretty, different hobby, but like, I think like, respect to those people, but it's like, man, you hate to get mashed up with them. You're like, fuck, I'm done. I lost.
Yeah. Or, I mean, at that point, it's just like the skill disparity. It's like you were going into it with the intention and like the mindset of like, hey, this is going to be just like a fun new activity, something to kind of break up the monotony of the week, because you kind of get caught up in the same routines and patterns. And, for instance, again, going to like the Twins game this weekend, I don't know shit about baseball, but I'm like, oh, cool. There's a whole other group that's going to go with. It'll be fun, new experience. But then
cheer when the crowd cheers. That's all you got to do. Cheer when the crowd cheers.
I mean, I know enough about baseball to kind of know exactly what's like going on. But like, if you were to ask me, like, oh, hey, who's like our top player on the Twins? I'm like, I have no idea. I know we're playing the Red Sox. That's about it.
Oh, cool. It'll be a fun game. Red Sox. I mean, it's always fun to watch the Red Sox, even though they're not like always good. It's just like they're such a storied franchise. Team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be also nice to go to a baseball game when I think this weekend it's going to be like 60 and sunny, so you're not sitting out in the middle of the stands fucking roasting on like a 90+ degree day. I'm gonna try to rope maybe a couple people into what I've heard is the 9-inning challenge, if you've heard about that, where you go every inning and you try to eat one hot dog and then also drink one beer every inning.
You're not gonna do that though.
No, me? No, but I'm gonna try to just fucking instigate and just see.
Try to peer pressure other people. Like, all the cool kids are doing it.
Also, what do you think the price of that would be? Because it is astronomical. It is asinine how expensive, food and drink are at those big venues. Like when we went to the Stapleton concert and you're at US Bank, I mean, even to just get like a bottle of water, it's like $7.
Let's say, and I'm being charitable here, let's say the lowest rung beer they've got, $10.
Yeah.
The lowest, the cheapest. Hot dog, maybe $8. So if you do
9 innings,
I don't suggest doing this at home, but if you did 9 innings, 9 times 90 plus 9 times 8 is 50? No,
9 times 8 is 72.
72.
Yep.
So that's like 100. That's 162.
I was anticipating at least $200.
Yeah, pretty dang close.
To do that. So not only do you have to have
just the food, that's not the price of the actual ticket and everything else.
Yeah, that
parking
too.
And
But I mean, to even guzzle down that much alcohol, that much beer and hot, you got to be fucking like Kobayashi, or Joey Chestnut.
You would need to be moving, I think, because like if you're sitting down, you're not doing it. Like you would need to be like walking,
doing laps or something
around the stadium the entire time. That's the only way that you'd maybe even have enough stomach space to do it. And even then, probably not. Like, I know I couldn't do that shit.
Is Joey Chestnut on your Mount Rushmore of athletes?
My Mount Rushmore of eating contest athletes? Because yes.
And you only named, I can only name 2.
Joey Chestnut.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. There's probably someone in there. No, my Mount Rushmore of athletes does not include Joey Chestnut. If anybody doesn't know who Joey Chestnut is, there's a Nathan's hot dog eating contest, which goes on, I believe, in Coney Island.
Yeah.
every year. And Joey Chestnut is a famous person that does it. There was a guy named Kobayashi who was a famous person. I think one year he couldn't get over for some reason. He listened. He's from Japan. I don't know. There was some weird drama with his being able to come to the U.S. for something, and then someone else won, and then Joey Chestnut steps up, and then it's all pretty gross.
I can imagine Kobayashi's at the airport. It's like, do you know who I am?
Yeah, the fuck? He's like wearing his Nathan's hot dog jacket, his tracksuit.
Like, who the fuck is this guy? Dude, I can eat 72 hot dogs in one sitting. Like,
God, that sounds terrible.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
No,
for anybody. But never. It doesn't sound great, and I'm sure probably not healthy. But well, to say the least. But
just the hot dog
for many reasons. Yeah.
But then I think they also there's technique that goes into it, where they dunk the bun in water. I'm serious. Yeah, where they dunk the bun in water so that
style.
Which is insane. Even watching those events when they pop up just kind of makes my stomach curdle a little bit, because I'm like, oh, how do you even manage? They can't keep that down.
Yeah.
Can they?
Well,
there's no way they can keep that down.
There's probably some other stuff going on.
You know what I mean?
Afterwards, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
But,
I guess I have no idea. Maybe they do.
There's no way.
You don't think so? Because you think
that's 10,000 calories, dude.
Yeah, but you got to think leading up to the competition, how are they going to do that? Because they're trying to expand their stomach. So they're eating insane amounts of food, I would imagine, leading up to the competition, rather than tapering off like you would for an event for any other athlete. You're fucking eating.
Did you ever see the show Man vs. Food?
Oh yeah,
Adam, I forget what his last name was.
Yes.
Yeah, he had to stop because he was seriously ill.
Right?
Well, he had to stop the show because he was I'm something's wrong.
Well, yeah, when you're dropping into every single state across the continental United States and just finding every little podunk, mom and pop store that has a 3-pound burger challenge along with the 1 pound chocolate sundae ice cream. It's it's probably not going to bode well.
So intrigued by, so me as a human being, I like history, right? One of the episodes we're going to do eventually is fitness and folklore, and just really jacked things from mythology that I'm going to talk about.
Minotaur.
Or I'm really excited for that. I got the thing that's holding us back from that episode is the fact that I have to do actual research for it. So I'm just procrastinating.
You don't have that locked away.
No. I've got some things certain stories are pretty apparent, but I have to look up dates and make sure I have the information correct, right?
Oh, because you're gonna get fact checked.
Well, yeah, I just want to say the wrong thing.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Hercules was a Central Asian. I don't know. I just know. I want to make sure. Actually, it was Greek, so it's close. But so yes. Fuck. I was gonna say. What was I gonna say?
Fitness and folklore.
No, before that. Eating. Yes, it's history. So I'm interested in history, but I'm always interested in how things come to be. There's sayings, there's phrases. Where did that phrase come from? Who started saying that? The phrase "son of a gun" was actually came from aboard pirate ships and sailing ships, where if there was a woman on board and she was pregnant, they would sometimes try to launch a cannon next to her to induce labor.
The fuck?
Yeah, seriously, that was
really?
The sound and the noise of it. They thought would induce labor, which sounds so stressful for a pregnant woman or anybody. But so that's where that phrase "son of a gun" came from. And so I like learning the information behind these things. So I'm curious, where did food challenges come from? Because it does seem very it's a very unhealthy fascination.
Yeah.
With food.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm did it? And I know that it's not just an American thing, but I'm where did it start? How did it start? Have they always done this back to the ancient times of decadence? And you think about these Roman emperors, did they just try to just eat whatever they what happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and then I wonder if it's I don't know, is it they're a little, there's got to be a fetish in there too. A little bit.
We're gonna go that route.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, isn't there oh yeah, I love feeding them or something too. It goes both ways. Whoever your partner is, I feel that's a thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, it is a thing.
Yeah. I don't know what that fucking fetish is. It's weird.
Well, food. Well, it's not. It's just different, Kory.
Well, that.
What would Abby say right now?
My 600-pound life.
Okay, well that's a whole other story. But
you know, dude, that just is nuts. Like how do you like? I don't know, just like life.
A lot of things going. I think. I mean, a lot of it is like mental health.
Oh yeah,
or like
yeah,
mental.
Yeah.
I don't want to say mental illness, but like it is there's some sort of like something that's not quite clicking there.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I've always been interested in like food challenges because like for a while I follow this he's an author and like a YouTube influencer, and he lives in Japan. He's been living in Japan for the last like 10 or so years, and he just did like a series of videos a while back about like kind of food challenges. And I was like, well, first off, this sounds awful, but I was like, where do these come from? Because like they're everywhere. They're not just here. You know what I mean?
So, what's a food challenge that you think you'd be able to do like fairly well at? You know, like I couldn't do like hot stuff, like hot. Like I think of like hot ones when I watch those videos. Which, I mean, it's a really cool idea for a show anyway. Like, okay, you get to enter these
like for sure. Yeah,
oh, yeah, it's fucking sick. And I've only ever done. Well, I have done one of the sauces on there, which was fucking nuts. But I mean, like doing a food challenge like that, I would never be able to last. I'd be done.
Yeah,
you know. But I mean, if it was like, oh, you have to eat so and so amount of like wings or something like that, maybe I feel like I would do like.
Well, it's interesting because the key with spice is like speed, because you can't give your body like time to register it.
Oh,
and if you have like water or like milk or something like that, then you're fucked, because it'll like cool your mouth down for like that second, but then that next bite of the spice will be even worse.
Oh, really?
Because you're like, well, for me, and that's how I perceive it. I don't physiologically, I could be wrong.
Oh.
But like for me, it's like, well, it's for me, it's like, okay, if I just eat it, I'm thinking this is not a great way to eat anything. But if I just have the spice and I don't think about like, or if I just kind of like, you know, if I don't have water, I don't have milk or whatever, but like as soon as I have that sip, then all of a sudden the next one feels hotter. You know, it's like when you are in a hot tub and then you jump in like a normal pool temperature, but it feels really cold because you were just in hot tub. Like I feel like that's kind of how it is. So yeah, it's not for me.
And I've never understood where people they'll go to a restaurant or something, they want the hottest thing. I'm like, is that enjoyable? Like the taste of that, or do you just like the heat? Because I don't know. It's like you get like the little like endorphin kick, you know, to it maybe, you know, as well. But I don't know, nothing of that. It's like, no, if I'm going to wings, like give me some fucking barbecue. I don't want any like super hot shit.
I like spice, but like to a point, like you said, like, you know, if we're talking pad thai scales, I'm at like max a 3 out of 5.
I don't even know if I've had that.
So you had a pad thai?
I don't know if I have. Genuinely.
Is there a booing sound? Is there a booing? Let's do it. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's a lot.
yeah, there we go. I need to have where's the fucking booing?
Severe alarm.
Why is the booing not here? So first off, you need to have pad thai.
Yeah.
It's a very like signature Thai dish, but obviously like kind of like I feel like it's probably Americanized a lot here.
Yeah.
In certain regards, but pad thai is so fucking. It's not inherently spicy. Usually, if you order pad thai from somewhere, it's gonna have like a spice level from anywhere from like 1 to 5. The problem is that sometimes their levels are not like, it's not like uniform. It's not like they have like a governing to pad thai body. So like, oh, sorry guys, I'm like hitting the water bottle against the microphone. So it's not like they have like a governing pad thai body. So some 3s will be like pretty moderate in spice, and you're like, I wish this was spicier. Some 3s are like pretty spicy, because 3 is theoretically the middle. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
I've tried 5 before when I was a young man back in my teens. Back when I was 18, I've tried 5 pad thai. I don't remember what it felt like, but I'm just not gonna fuck with that anymore in my life. Especially if I've already had like a gastritis / ulcer, so like I don't.
Oh really?
Well, yeah, last February.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, how was that?
I mean, it was really fucking painful.
Yeah.
It was like every minute or like every like 90 seconds or so, I would just get like a really intense like shooting pains in my stomach for like a minute or so. Then it would kind of like fade, and then it would just like cycle on and off for like days.
Oh, that sounds rough.
Yeah.
That sounds rough.
Yeah. So it came on because I was having like, I like spicy food, but I wasn't overdoing it. But at one point I was like having Tums before I ate something spicy, because I was always getting some sort of like reflux or some sort of like
You're like preparatory.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna pre-tums. Like it was kind of like a joke, and I just didn't realize there was like a pattern to it that I was like getting worse, or like I should have just been smarter, but I'm not. So
yeah. They said, like, have you ever had food poisoning?
oh yeah,
You have? See, I don't think I've never had that.
food poisoning is like you're vomiting a lot,
Ugh.
and then like it's usually like a day and you're okay, depending on the severity of it, right? But I mean, I've had it before where I was like, yeah, like I was really sick for like a day and then I was fine.
Oh God, there's like nothing like when you're sick, like severely ill, where you're just like, God, I just want to feel normal again.
Yeah,
You know, and you're just sitting there on the couch all curled up. Like there's different, like when you have the sick day as a kid and you are a little under the weather, like you got the flu or the cold, but you can still just like do your kind of day-to-day activities, or you can like chill comfortably, watch a movie. You just have like maybe a little of the head cold or sniffles. But like when you're really out, you're like, I don't even want to like stay up right now. And you're just like holding your stomach, giving yourself like the little hug. Like those days suck.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
Yeah, it makes feeling normal feel really, really good.
What was that?
Makes feeling normal feel amazing.
Oh,
yeah. Like you forget how great normal feels.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's even like now when we're talking about, again, being a health and wellness podcast, like like
average dose.
You know, like right now, knowing that, okay, I'm in a 30-year-old body, and you know, with the variety of members and clientele that I work with, everyone from, you know, elementary school kids all the way up to, I think the oldest client I train currently right now is in their 70s, like 72, 73.
Yeah.
And you know, just to have that recognition on a daily basis, like with the clients that I work with, like, oh yeah, like eventually that day's coming. Like, so take full advantage. Like today I woke up, I had a weird fucking eye thing going on. I don't know if it's like my contacts or if I'm allergic or if like I have some fucking like cancer.
Allergies?
I have no idea. I need to honestly like go and get it checked out legitimately. But I woke up this morning, my eye was already fucking irritated. I had a little bit of a headache. I looked at my calendar for today and it was like, I'm working from 6 a.m. and I have back to back clients, classes all the way from 6 a.m. up until 4. I'm like, damn. All right. Well, when am I going to, you know, get my training session in? So I got into the gym at like 4:30, still knocked it out. But over the course of the day, working with a diverse, you know, array of like people, I'm like a little bit like tired, a little bit, you know, achy, but I still have the ability to be able to like, oh, when I'm demoing a movement, hit a full range of motion, like squat or like lateral lunge or like overhead press. And then, you know, I go from little kids up to clients that are in their like 70s and everywhere and all in between, different skill sets and mobility, flexibility, strengths. And it's just like, oh, okay. I'm really happy with where I'm at right now and being able to like kind of take a little bit of like, I get that ability to like recognize that each and every day, where I just feel like it's a little unfortunate sometimes where people don't have that maybe wherewithal to be able to like, oh, hey, really appreciate like what you got right now, like with your body, you know, like you have to have that too all the time, like, you know, with coaching, I would imagine.
Yeah, except for when I sleep wrong and my back hurts. So that
oh yeah,
that's what's happening. But it feels a lot better. And then, you know, I got a knee thing and it's like both knees. But yeah, fine.
It's
no, like today I was avoiding a lot of up and down while demoing. But I was still able to, like when I was talking with members, get low under their level and still chat with them like that.
Yep.
But during demos, I was definitely avoiding going up and down and up and down and up and down because it was like wasn't really having it today. But you know, it'll be better tomorrow. Again, like I think that pain comes from somewhere. And like it also like disappears too sometimes. Like sometimes there's nothing wrong. Like sometimes it's just fucking one of those days.
When I just also love it when clients and new members will come on in and they're talking about a little bit of soreness or like a little muscle ache, or they're, you know, they got a joint that's being a little bit flared up, or they got, you know, this, that thing, or the other. It's like, well, unless you go get some like maybe imaging done, or you go see like a, you know, physical therapist or something that can maybe like remedy or address that situation. They're like thinking that maybe it's inherently something wrong with like their movement, and maybe there is. But otherwise they're like, oh yeah, is my form look okay? Like my back hurts. I'm like, yeah, but it's also part of just being fucking human. Like, I don't know, you could have just went over, picked up your water bottle wrong. You could have sneezed wrong, and there you go. You throw out your back. It's like the injuries and stuff are just going to like add up over that time. But yeah, over the course of a day, that's something that I was thinking about earlier on today, just being like very appreciative of recognizing, oh, okay, you got like a good healthy body. It's going to have like little dings and nicks and stuff like that all the way throughout, but yeah, so it'll be nice to be able to get out this weekend, soak up a little bit of sun at the Twins game, just be able to appreciate it. But I always try to, like, with my clients at the end, I always give them like little homework assignments or like little like workout snacks, I call them. So I'll message my clients pretty regularly and just get them to try to do something on a day off or over the weekend. Like, hey, get outside. You got to, go for a walk for like 10 minutes, load up a pack, like those little kind of things, and just get them to appreciate, their health and fitness in a little bit of a different way. I think more people need to do that.
You heard it here first, folks. Go get outside, do some fitness stuff, and do the 9-inning challenge at a baseball game. 9 beers, 9 dogs. You got 9 innings.
And then get 9,000 steps.
And get 9,000. Ooh, you're adding a little bit of an extra wrinkle into it.
Right? Yeah.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Those 9,000 steps would actually help you get those 9 dogs and 9 beers.
Yeah, we're much needed, I feel like.
I have to probably legally. I don't know, but I have to clarify that's not what we're recommending you to do. So don't do those things.
Because you're also probably consuming like 9,000 calories. Like, that's a lot.
It just sounds. I literally could not just get that in my body. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. I am curious how far I could go. I'd probably be done at like the 4th. I don't think I could do more than 4 dogs and 4 beers.
Oh, what? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could do more than the 4.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Do you think it's because it's not the hot dogs? I mean, I don't know how big the hot dogs are
in the stomach.
I was going to say, I think it's
beer for me.
Yeah, because that's just going to take up a lot of volume in the stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then your body has to process all that alcohol, and then it doesn't really do anything else. And then I'm just sitting there with a full belly, and probably feeling okay at that point. But
then some people can just put it away. Remember back in like college, you always just like had that one guy that would just be bragging about how much they would be able to drink. They'd have like a whole case to themselves.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
I
really?
I can tell you his name right now.
Do you? You got one?
Shout out my buddy is actually about to get married. Alec. Shout out to him.
Congrats, Alec.
So his if I tell the story. Well, like
yes.
Yeah, like it was drinking culture. Back in the day. And like, he's very very
big
chill.
Guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Big guy.
Played lineman for us in high school. So
nice.
Big guy. Real like probably like the kindest human being you're ever gonna meet in your life. You know what I mean?
Teddy bear.
Real gentle guy, real smart, like just really cool, real hard worker. But yeah, back in the day, like he earned the moniker 20 shot. His last name is Demjian. We would call him Deezus sometimes.
Deezus?
20 shot Deezus. Because he apparently took 20 shots one night that I was there, and he was pretty drunk, so like maybe could have taken 20 shots.
Wow.
I don't know. It could be. I could have. Maybe some of them are half. Maybe we'll get him on the podcast so he can defend himself on this. But no. But that was back in the day. Maybe some of them are half. Maybe some of them were like, I don't know. It was when you get to that point of like inebriation. Do you really do you even know what you're doing? Like, did you take that shot, or did you just think you took? You know what I mean? Like, it happened, and so I remember that aspect. So, shout out, Alec. I don't want him to be known for that, but like that's a funny story that like that was the guy that would kind of claim that, and not even a way that like it's like a d-bag way. Like he wouldn't even do it for like clout. He was just kind of like, yeah, I can do it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Jesus. or getting into those like shotguns, that people would do and just fucking, I remember seeing like a video of Luke Combs doing it up on stage once where he can just crack it down in like 2 seconds. Like, gee, damn, dude.
It seems like the worst way to drink beer just because I want to enjoy it.
I would say so.
I want to sit back and sip it, even if it's like a Coors Light. I like a good Coors Light. It's Ryan's favorite beer, my roommate Ryan, but he's also from Iowa, so don't know if that plays a factor.
I just think back to some of those days when you're like, when I did drink, just like, what the fuck? Like, how much was I consuming? And not that I was ever like by any means like a heavy drinker, but just as many people did, you had your moments back in college, just like, holy shit. Like, you're pounding back like a couple beers, and then you go down to the bar, and then you get 2, 3, 4 more. And like, I just had like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 beers by the end of the night. Maybe all of a sudden you get roped into doing a fucking shot too. That was always the worst.
Yeah.
Somebody comes up, we got shots. I'm like, fuck.
When you get older, you get a lot better at like saying no.
Yeah.
And you also get hopefully, and you also have like more things to do. So you just party less typically. I mean, some people don't. Some people kind of keep that going, and they do it in a certain way that is not impactful for their life. Like there's a member of ours who like loves going to like concerts and shows, and like big electronic music person, big EDC person, like loves going and like raving and doing it ever. And she's lost like a ton of weight for it. Like that's like,
nice.
It's not like an unhealthy part of her life. Like she had a goal to like do this, had a goal to get in better shape, and she's been doing that, but also still like parties.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But it's like you can do it in a way that doesn't impact you. And if like, and she's in her 30s or 40s, I think, so she's just, I think, more responsible and in general, and like has a great job and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, it's certainly possible, but when we were 20 years old, that's not what we were doing at all. So
still partakes in that lifestyle in terms of like going to the concert, but does she
maybe not like the volume of drinking?
Okay,
yeah,
but just still cuts it back a little bit.
Yeah, but still out till 3, 4, whatever, stuff like that. So
yeah.
Well, friends, I appreciate you joining us on the episode of the podcast. We were recording this for the new recording software. Yes. So fingers crossed that this works. We tried with the old one, and I will say, Kory, I don't know if I was fiddling around with it, but I was trying it. It was turned on. It kept failing.
It was turned on.
And we were just doing like kind of like 10, 20, 30 second bits just to kind of test it recording. And it was just, again, same thing. It was failing to render every single time. So I was like, well, so I just shelled out.
Should have checked if it was plugged in all the way.
Yeah, well, there you go. I should have so I just shelled out some money to do this new one. And this app, people have talked about the quality of it. I mean, I think it's associated with Spotify pretty evenly. But anyway, so like hopefully this works. Hopefully this might be our new thing going forward. Yeah. Otherwise, team, thanks for joining us on the Average Bros Gym podcast today. We've got the email. Send us an email about things, about stuff, about questions you have, topics, whatever you want to hear. Average Bros Gym podcast at gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on Instagram at Average Bros Gym podcast. Just send us any information or send us all information. Send social security number, a list of your fears, whatever you want.
Deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah, all those things. Yeah.
Secret shames.
Send us, any ideas that you have or anything that you want to hear more about. Other than that, we've got our Patreon launch, so go check it out. We do have a behind the scenes episode up from a couple weeks ago when Kory and I are sitting back watching the game, so check that out. We're gonna have some more stuff on there as well. Maybe our ping pong battle will be uploaded on the Patreon. And I want to get into a series of like small little kind of like journal blog entries things. I want to get those going as well. And I had a title for them and I forgot the title, so I'll think about that in a little bit. Yeah, if you want to support us, $5 a month supports me buying new editing software because our old one doesn't work. So thanks for that. Otherwise, y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week with some more fun episodes.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. All right. Fitness is fun. It is, isn't it?
It is.